Welcome back, my name is Piku. The game was Dark Cloud. So, my thoughts on Dark Cloud. I certainly didn't hate the game. But as I mentioned a couple of times during the playthrough itself, there's just a lot going on in the game that seems to be at odds with itself. The game gives you a limited number of character upgrade items. The health item and the thirst item. But if you spread those around evenly, you still get one-shot by things. But if you focus entirely on one character, then on the limited floors where you're forced to use another character, then that character that you didn't give the stuff to also dies to everything in one shot. So it feels like you're put in a no-win situation, which is not great. And this also extends to the way that they decided to scale your characters up. In that all of your power is tied explicitly to your weapon. And that causes several problems, but the two I want to focus in on are the limited floors where you lose weapon EXP for killing monsters, and the fact that the weapons have a durability and they can break and you don't get anything from them if they break. Like, you saw how certain enemies were like, if they put their guard up, suddenly I was losing 25 or more durability from a single swing with Tone's sword. That's not okay. It's not okay that the weapon's durability seems to fall almost at random. It's not okay that certain enemies can put up their guard unexpectedly and take like 5 times the durability that they would normally take for a swing. And it's not okay that if the weapon you've spent hours and hours building up breaks because of an unforeseen circumstance, then one of your potentially strongest characters is suddenly now completely worthless. And you might not have a backup plan, because again, the game encourages you to simultaneously focus exclusively on a single character and spread out your power, your upgrade items. So it's like, especially concerning the floors where you lose weapon XP for killing monsters, when the only way to progress is to kill an unknown number of monsters. So your only recourse is to either, one, use another weapon that you haven't been leveling up, which makes killing things take longer. Use another character that has a weapon that isn't as strong as your main character, probably. That also has a weapon that isn't close to leveling up. Use a power-up powder and waste any XP you currently have. Or hope you get lucky and don't lose too much EXP of your current weapon level. And none of those options feels good. Yeah. Like, if when a weapon broke, you at least got a percentage of its value back as like weapon shards or whatever, that you could then put into a different weapon, that would be a lot better, I think. Other than this, just anything besides this all or nothing, all of your power is on your weapon can break, leaving you with nothing system. It's like, the moment-to-moment gameplay of Dark Cloud is fine. For the most part, there are some enemies that are very strangely tanky, like the space fish, for no discernible reason. And also the floating head type enemies with the shields that would constantly put them up were also annoying, but that's besides the point. The moment-to-moment gameplay was, for the most part, fine. But as soon as I start thinking more in depth about the systems and the overarching gameplay philosophy, it starts making me very frustrated with Dark Cloud. If there were any secondary way to increase your character's power, I think it would smooth out a lot of the rough edges. Like Breath of the Wild. It's basically Dark Cloud in my mind is basically the worst of all worlds of the Breath of the Wild weapon system. Because at least in Breath of the Wild, if something breaks, you probably have you have a way to get an exact copy of that weapon, several exact copies of the weapon. So if you find a weapon that you really vibe with, you can just go farm 5 or 6 of them, usually. And the Master Sword, which is the strongest sword of the game, has a recharge system. So even when that breaks, you eventually get it back. But Dark Cloud has no such systems. Sure, you get copies of the base weapons, like copies of the Crystal Knife and whatnot, but you still have to put in time and XP and attachments to get that up to a usable level most of the time. And it just feels bad. And of course, there's also another side effect of this is that you're constantly buying repair powders. Your progress is constantly gated by repair powders. It's not as bad as it could be, because at least the repair powders aren't super expensive. But especially if you're maining a melee character, that durability can go real fast. Even with Oz, we saw I was having problems keeping up with repair powders and wanting to upgrade things. So I suppose that's also a knock against Dark Cloud's economy. Although, to be completely fair, that might also be somewhat mitigated with the fishing minigame. I don't know. But yeah, constantly having to stay stocked up on repair powders definitely eats into your budget. I wonder how much I actually ended up spending on repair powders, because I did end up using almost every single powder that I bought. I had, what, 8 or 9 at the end of the Let's Play? So it's not great. Yeah, there needs to there for it to be a good system, there would need to be some sort of either leniency with the durability, repair powders needed to maybe function differently. The auto repair powders especially. One, they don't explain what they do, so you have to kind of gamble that they work how you hope they do if you're not looking up a guide. And two, they're just way too expensive. Way too expensive. But yeah, I think my final verdict is Dark Cloud. It's a fine game. It just has a lot of rough edges that kind of bring you down. But with that out of the way, I can now announce the next Let's Play. Coming up in 2 days' time, I will be playing another game from my childhood. That being Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. So I'll see you all in the land down under. And looking forward to it. I think I'll be trying to get all the Steam achievements for Ty. So until then, like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell. And if you be so kind, get off my lawn, you filthy casuals.